So, when it comes to birth trauma, is this something that is reported? Like, is it something that a woman would go to the hospital or to her doctor, or would she seek the help of a psychologist? Or is it more often than not, women don't even know that what they experienced was birth trauma? They just think like, oh, that was just how it is. Like, some women have good births and some don't. Like, what does that process look like?
I'm so glad you're asking this question because so much of it exists in silence. Like, so
Mhm.
many women suffer in silence because we live in a culture that really encourages women to be quiet about concerns that they have in relation to being pregnant. Let's even back up to things
Mm,
like infertility
yes.
and miscarriages, leading all the way to being pregnant and then having difficulties during labor and delivery, resulting in birth trauma. So we exist in a culture that encourages women to say, like, just be quiet about this. This is something that you wanted. Okay.
Right.
And so don't complain about it and just practice gratitude. And so we see a lot in the community. It's something I challenge often with my followers is toxic positivity. This idea that, like, is the baby healthy? Well, then what are you worried about? What are you upset about? And just that focus there. So it really silences a lot of women who experience it. But if we think of something like obstetric and midwifery violence, you can absolutely report that experience. And that too, a lot of people don't know that. They think, they go through this horrific experience that could have been prevented in that instance with those kinds of violence, and they think there's nobody to talk to about this. But every hospital or say midwifery association has a reporting process where they can reach out and say, like, this experience was not right for me and these are the reasons why. And so it's actually something that I'm going through myself, actually. And so I can't speak to it, unfortunately, because it's in the midst of being reported. But once that is dealt with, I plan to explain to my followers exactly how to go about reporting. So it will be a topic that I do. Because I'd say about, I want to say around 30 to 40%. No, that's not true. It'd be higher. I'm thinking of something else there. It's around 60% of my followers. It's because of the way that they were treated and the way they were made to feel was the result of birth trauma. So, research as of late is showing 66% of women who have birth trauma are saying at the root of that is the mistreatment from a provider. So it's powerful stuff. Like, yeah.
Wow. And thank you for creating a community where these conversations can happen, because I have to think that s- especially for those women who are going through the birthing experience for the first time, we don't know what is normal or not, like what is the appropriate way to be treated, or normal experiences. And I know that normal is, it's not the appropriate term, but until we have conversations and other people share, how would we ever know to identify something as a good or bad, and not just like, maybe I'm just making too much of this, right? So thank you for creating that space, and like sharing you like so much incredible research so that women can find a story that they resonate with, or that reflects their experience, so they can know, like, that wasn't okay, and these feelings that I'm having are justified,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and so valid. Yeah, and truly, like, it's an honor to run this kind of page. Like, it's such a privilege to hold people's stories, and I'm sure you experience this, Jocelyn, right? When people share their stories with you, it's like there's such power to that, and I never take it for granted. Every single story I read on my page or people that reach out to me daily, I want to sit and create as much space as I can to hold what they need, because it's like without those voices, then we can't change things like this. And we can change a lot of this. A lot of birth trauma can be prevented.
Which is such a hopeful, you know way and path forward. So